All right, migrant update. The numbers, and they come from the Homeland Security Office itself. So far, 253,000 deportations since Trump took office. Okay? And that number is up to July 5th. And immigrants being held in ICE custody, 57,186. Now, will all of them be deported? I don't know. And we'll get to that in a moment. Disturbing story out of New England. Okay, here's what happened. A guy named Chris Landry, 46 years old, legal U.S. resident, 5 children. He works in manufacturing. He lives in Peterborough, New Hampshire. He goes to Canada on vacation. He drives up there. He comes back through the port of entry of Houlton, Maine, which I've been to. It's the furthest point north in Maine. He presents his credentials to the Border Patrol in Houlton, Maine. Okay? They say, you're not allowed back. Traveling with 3 of his children. They let the kids in, and they're older, so they go back to New Hampshire, but Mr. Landry is still in Canada. He is being denied entry back here. Why? Because he, in 2007, had a pot beef. Not a big one, but he had marijuana possession. All right? And that was 18 years ago. Since that time, Landry says he's been to Canada many times. No problem. But now there is a problem. Now, I looked at this and I said, this is wrong. If you want to bring him before an immigration court, okay. Okay. If that's what ICE wants to do, I don't object to it. I think it's a waste of money. But on a humane basis, man has 5 kids. And they're all U.S. citizens. They all live in New Hampshire. And you can't get back? No. Sorry. No. That is cruel. And it doesn't protect me or my family or you or your family. Does it? Okay. Joining us now is probably the most astute immigration lawyer in the country. And I'll back it up. He represents Melania Trump and her family. He did represent John Lennon when the U.S. Department of State tried to deport him on pot charges or drug charges. Michael Wiles comes to us from New York City. He's also the mayor of Englewood, New Jersey. So he's a busy guy. All right. So I'm assuming Melania is not going to be deported, right? She's okay, counselor?
She's safe, Mr. Reilly. And
okay.
It was my late father, Leon Wiles, who passed away a year ago, who actually represented the famous Beatle against the Nixon administration at the time. But
right. Quite a legacy.
We're still shepherding his practice forward on Madison Avenue. Okay.
So I'm this guy in Chris Landry, and I come to your office, or I send a representative, I send, my wife or whoever in and say, look, you got to get me back into the USA. This is ridiculous. What do you do specifically to solve this problem?
Thank you. Thank you again, Bill, for having me on. Listen, the Controlled Substance Act of 1971 schedules marijuana as a Schedule I drug. As bad as it gets, such a conviction has catastrophic consequences even for green card holders. Departing after a conviction, even with a green card, he was a green card holder, the gentleman, since he was 3 years old, subjects him to what's termed to be inadmissibility charges on his return. Now, that means that Mr. Landry can be returned to the United States. He has a green card, so he's entitled to a day in immigration court. I want you to know, a few hours ago, I had a U.S. citizen who consulted with us because he was concerned about his being returned to the United States. He would be heard in a federal court. But Mr. Landry would be eligible for a waiver. They don't have to mandatorily incarcerate him if they want to. The law allows them when he comes back because it's a controlled substance crime that he was convicted of. But what we would be doing would be a few things. First, We would look to see if we could have the crime vitiated. We would look to see whether or not there was a constitutional problem.
All right, but just right now. He got to get back to Peterborough, New Hampshire.
And
Okay.
he's entitled to a day in court.
All right. So what would you do? And he should hire you. So you would do an emergency petition right away, try to get it in front of an immigration judge? Is that what you would do?
He would come to the United States. He would go off.
But they won't let him in, counsel.
No, they will let him in. Somebody has to negotiate that they admit him.
All right, when you say they, you pick up the phone. Who do you call to get this guy back?
We call ICE, and we ask for them to have him return to the United States. He does not make a formal admission, and they issue what's called an NTA, a notice to appear in removal.
Okay, all right. So you call him up on a phone, or is it an email or a registered letter?
We would call up ICE because of the profile of this matter and ask.
Would you get anybody on the phone though immediately? Yes. Are the people there to answer your call? You would.
Yes, we would go up the chain of command. The decision has to be.
So you're confident if this guy hired you, you could get him back within hours?
Within a day.
Within a day. All right. He's already been out 2 days. He's already been out in Canada 2 days. Okay.
Which is unconscionable for a green card holder with 5 U.S. citizen children.
That's why I'm doing this story. That's why I'm doing it. You know me. For many years, I don't want chaos in our immigration thing. I think Joe Biden is the worst president on immigration in our history. By far. There's no even close second. And I've been saying this for decades, that you've got to regulate immigration into America. But this one comes under humane, right?
Of course.
Now, here's my next question.
Family reunification is a bedrock of our immigration policy.
Okay. The left, the hate Trumpers, are now portraying Homeland Security, ICE, as having no interest in humanity, fairness, human right, or any of that. Or all I want to do is kick everybody out. Is that true?
It's not true. I'm a former federal prosecutor myself. I'm actually a proud Democrat and a mayor, a 5-term mayor in New Jersey. I don't like some of the things that they're doing. We're representing a wine company in Edison, New Jersey that was raided a few days ago. I don't like the people that they're picking up or how they're doing it. But this president is returning on his promise to go after those hardened criminals. When they realize there aren't as many bad people in this country, they are expanding the net. I don't like how they knock on doors. Even in my city, they're knocking on doors and they're saying, it's the police. And they say, what do you want? Well, we have gifts for your kids. And then they go in and they arrest somebody.
All right, but there's always abuses. I mean, that's not a policy.
Not a policy.
But I want to get the bigger picture here. So let's review. Number one, if this guy hires you, you think you can get him back in 24 hours. He would go before then. He'd have a hearing in an immigration court to review.
Wouldn't have a hearing. We would negotiate.
All right, you negotiate his status,
and then he would end up having to be heard in an immigration court.
And you're confident you would win the case?
Oh yeah, I mean, Bill, this is a gentleman with 5 children, U.S. citizens.
I got it. I'm just trying to get
remedies available to him to defend himself.
Okay, so right now, he's not getting good advice from anybody because they could have already called you. And there are a lot of other immigration attorneys, skilled ones in New England, who could have done the same thing.
Of course, and he could have done this years ago. He should have done this without leaving. Right. Each time he came back, he faced this jeopardy.
Right. He didn't protect himself as the way he should. All right. So now after this segment, which will go worldwide, I kind of think that what you just said will happen. I can't guarantee it, but we'll do a follow-up tomorrow, and we appreciate your time very much, Mr. Wiles. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you, Bill.
Okay. NBC News. So, look, I know that I've been way too repetitive on the media, but it has declined in such a dramatic way. So they do a report on illegal aliens, undocumented migrants, whatever you want to use, being held in detention centers around the country. The crux of the report is that they're being abused. The migrants are being abused by the Trump administration. Here is a full screen. This isn't a television report. This is on their website, NBC News website. Quote, immigrants being held in Immigration and Customs Enforcement detention centers in at least 7 states are complaining of hunger, food shortages, spoiled food, detainees and immigrants advocates say. They say some detainees have gotten sick. Others have lost weight. In one facility, an incident involving detainees reportedly broke out because of food, unquote. Okay. Now, ICE immediately, same day, this came out July 14th, yesterday, okay, issued this statement, quote, fake news. Any claim there is a lack of food or subprime conditions at ICE detention centers are false. All detainees are provided with proper meals, medical treatment, have opportunities to communicate with their family members and lawyers. Meals are certified by dietitians. Ensuring the safety, security, and well-being of individuals in our custody is a top priority at ICE. Okay, so we decided to find out who's telling the truth, NBC News or the Homeland Security Department. Here's what we found out. Number one, most of the sources NBC News used are anonymous, which means you can't bank on it. If they're afraid to put names on it, you can't believe it. They do have 3 prominent names in their report. First one is Alfredo Calderon, okay? He has been detained for a year. He's a Salvadoran. So you got to figure Alfredo doesn't like being detained, right? Okay. Number 2, Jennifer Norris. She's an attorney at the Immigrant Defenders Law Center. What's that? Far left group, open border group. Jennifer wants everybody in, nobody held. Third, Vanessa Torres, okay? She's a lawyer for the American Immigration Lawyers Association, another far left group. So what NBC News did is it stacked anonymous sources, you don't know who they are, and far left people who want open borders and everybody in. That was the basis of their entire article. Is this unusual? No. The reporters went out. They wanted an article to say there's bad food and conditions at the ICE detention centers. And it's easy to get that. And that's what they did. Let's face it, the U.S. economy is under stress. National debt rising, trade war shaking the markets. And meanwhile, China is dumping the dollar and stockpiling gold. That's why I protected my savings with physical gold and silver through the only dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. And you can do this. Get precious metals delivered to your door or place in a tax-advantaged gold IRA. They'll even help you roll over your existing IRA or 401k, tax and penalty free. With billions in precious metals delivered, thousands of 5-star reviews, and an A+ from the Better Business Bureau, you can trust American Hartford Gold as I do. Please call 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. Again, that's 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. All right, an update. We don't have much on this guy we reported on yesterday, Chris Landry, who lives in Peterborough, New Hampshire, was denied access back to the USA. He's got 5 children because of a pot beef. He's a legal U.S. resident. Senator Maggie Hassan is now involved. We are following that story closely. We do expect he will be back, as we had an interview yesterday with an immigration attorney. But, look, I am a big booster of Homeland Security and deportations, but mistakes are made sometimes. And when they're made, they have to be corrected. Right? Yes? So I debated Hannity about this today. It was pretty interesting. And posted it on BillO'Reilly.com. We get an update, we'll give it to you. All right, here's another update. So you remember the 2 New York City police officers who were assaulted, and it was caught on videotape, so they did it, on November 13th, 2023, 18 months ago. There's the assault. Okay? 2 men were charged with a felony, assault in the second degree. Today they were in court. Their case was adjourned for the 19th time. 19th time by DA Darcel Clark. Okay? That means they're out on the street till September 3rd. This is coming up on 2 years now. They will not put these thugs in court, the Bronx. And they wonder why crime is out of control in that very poor part of New York City. 19 times. 19 times. The case has been adjourned. This is not the justice system. This is a collapse. Here might be worse. We called the cop unions and the people who are supposed to be defending the New York City police 17 times. They refused to come on the program. We called the Police Benevolent Association, Police Conference of New York, the Fraternal Order of Police, on and on and on and on. No, won't defend their own police. Because in New York City, very few people know about this. Don't even know it. Joining us now is a retired New York City police detective, Bo Dietl. You know him. He's a movie star now. He's in Godfather of Harlem. He played Genovese. Is that who you're playing now? You're some mob guy?
Tommy Gambino.
Gambino. Genovese, Gambino.
No. Tommy Lucchese. You got me wrong. I don't even know who I'm playing anymore.
You don't even know.
Tommy
All right, so
Lucchese.
you're Lucchese. All right. But in your real life, you're Bo Dietl, who had a very distinguished career in the NYPD, as did my grandfather. I'm so outraged about this. I tell you how, I can't get any angrier. Can you explain this to me?
It's just part of the pattern, Bill, that has happened. This is the George Floyd effect, on and on with the demonstrations. Since 2020, when these pieces of garbage were able to demonstrate, burn, assault, some murders involved, the prosecution, everyone turned against the police. Defund the police, defund the police. Now you have in New York State, because we have to start with the state, you have an assembly and you have a Senate that will not pass any kind of bills in support of the police. Then you have a city council here that has taken away every aspect of what the police officers can do. Now they also have this diaphragm law. When you're fighting with someone, if you get them into a headlock, that's illegal. Immediately when a cop gets someone in a headlock or gets on top of them, they file a suit against them. The charges are dropped. They testify against the cop. Then you got district attorneys, like you just pointed out with this case. These officers were beat pretty bad. There were stitches involved and everything. That's why it's assault to a felony. And I'm outraged, Bill, listening to what you just said, that this is put off. That's the DAs and the damn judges. When they put these liberal judges in there, I mean, a judge is supposed to make a judgment call. When you got animals like this, if they're going to assault a police officer the way they did, imagine what they'll do to a regular person. You and me, our children on the streets.
Right. These people are career criminals anyway, and they know that, and they put them back on the street. But in order to counter this, Bo, you would have to have an organized police presence with demonstrations, with signs, with pressure, with the media, and you don't have anything. Not one word. They have turned us down on every request to come in and condemn this whole case. They will not do it. Do you know why?
No, I don't know why, but I'm going to tell you something. I was with Kaz Daughtry, the deputy mayor of public safety, last night. I had dinner up in Campianolas with him, and we had dinner. And this is one of the issues that he told me he wanted me to get back on. And I promise you one thing. I told him I was going to be on your show, and I said, I want answers. Why? Now, when you go to the unions, you have a PBA, you have a DEA. I'm still a member of the DEA, but I'm going to reach out to the president of the PBA, and you are exactly right. There should be demonstrations going on in front of that DA's office in the Bronx. This is an outrage, and I'm really, really side with you on this one, Bill. That's where I came from.
But now it's a moral outrage. It's just wrong. It's indefensible. But there's more than that. It demoralizes every single police officer in the city because they know they could be beaten, they could be next. And nothing is going to happen to them because of the Darcel Clarks of the world, but their own people aren't defending them. How can you ask people to put their lives on the line every day in a dangerous city like New York when they know nobody's got their back?
That's why, Bill, more police officers in New York City are retiring than ever before. They can't recruit people to come on to the New York City Police Department. And a lot of people don't know, if they're doing their jobs completely legally, they still could be sued civilly. That's like the poor cop that has a little house out in Levittown paying his mortgage or her mortgage. And next thing is they get sued civilly and they take his house or her house away. And right now what's going on, they cannot bring people on the police department. And they're lowering their standards, Bill. This is a craziness. Then we got some fool running for mayor that wants to defund the police department.
Okay.
And he's getting more votes than anybody.
For our audience who doesn't live in New York City and doesn't really know how intense it is, describe when you were on the job, okay, and then now. How big a difference?
Well, we had tremendous support. We had tremendous support from our unions, even the higher echelon of the police department. I was very active. I made over 1,500 felonies. I was a decoy cop. 500 times I was mugged, hospitalized 30 times, stabbed, shot, and all that. When I got in a fight with somebody and I had to do necessary force, let's not call it a beating. Let's call it necessary force. I'm fighting so you don't get my gun. I punched him. I hit him with the hand radio. I did whatever I had to do to get him or her, not too many hers, but definitely get him restrained. And you know what? I said what I did and why I did it, and I was supported. I was the recipient of 40 civilian complaints. I'm very proud of every one of them. And you know what? I was never founded on one of them because all I did was my job. And I told the truth, and that's it. I'm out there, and I'm with my partner. I'm fighting with a guy with a knife or a gun. I want to make sure my partner goes home safely, and I go home safely. And I did what I had to do, reasonable force. Today, now you got video cameras. What they do is after the cop gets punched, they take the video of the second part of the cop arresting him, not the original incident that occurred. And with the advent of these cell phones, that's a destruction to the police department also.
Could you do the job today? Because I know you love you love being a detective. I mean, you like the work and all of that. Could you do it today?
No, and I think I would actually maybe break my son's arm if he wanted to become a New York City cop. I would not let him. Nobody I love will I let come on the police department. It's a disgrace of what it's become, and I feel horrible. Now you have more than 60% of the police department have under 5 years. That means you have inexperienced people out there that don't really want to do any kind of reaction. We used to go out there and we used to find a crime before these guys committed the crime. Find the bad guys. There's no proactivity with the police. Don't get involved. Drive by. I've seen them drive by many a times where they're not getting involved. Oh, crime is down because no one is reporting anything.
Forget quality of life. So if you're a drug addict and you're sitting in front of a school with a needle in your neck, cops aren't going to do anything to you.
No, and no, that's it. You can walk on the streets right now. I'm on 5th Avenue, 42nd Street, right by Bryant Park for people around the country, the heart of New York City. You can walk out there anytime, and you have people there. You can't wear watches. You can't do this. Everyone's scared stiff. Forget about getting on a train. You know, you go on a train, you take your life in hand. My son, who's 30 years old, my son, Bo, he goes, Bo, Dad, you know what I do? I do no eye contact. He goes, if I do eye contact, I can get in a fight every 2 minutes with people.
Last question. When you don't have an effective justice system, which in New York City we do not, and you're right, it's the laws that Andrew Cuomo signed, Hochul, comes all the way down, okay? When you have a system that has collapsed, there is no protection for anybody. Wrong?
The worst thing in the world is the district attorney is supposed to be protecting those cops when they're doing their jobs. And when your district attorney, the prosecutor, don't support you, what the hell do police officers have? They have nothing. Then you got these judges, these liberal judges that don't care about the cops or don't care about the public. All they care about is the criminal element. This is what's wrong, Bill. And I tell you what, you talk about no spin zone. This is a spin into the toilet bowl for America across this country.
Yeah, it's happening
across the
not
country.
just in New York, Chicago, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Baltimore, on and on. All right, Bo, you stay safe out there. And it's a good show, Godfather Harlem. I mean, it's one of the few that I actually watch.
Right.
And it's very
Tommy
amusing.
Tommy Lucchese.
It's you're playing a gangster when your whole life you're trying to put those guys away.
No. Bill, I grew up with John Gotti. I went one way, they went another way.
Yeah, but you didn't like John Gotti. So.
Well, no comment. All right.
I didn't like him. All right, Bo Dietl, everyone. There you go. We know credit card debt is crushing American families, and summertime expenses make it even worse. Most people rely on credit cards that charge 20, even 30% interest. Homeowners, you do not have to keep living like this. American Financing has a smarter, more strategic way to get your finances in order. They will show you how to use your home's equity to pay off that high interest debt. One low payment, no upfront fees, just honest help from salary-based mortgage consultants. Their customers save an average of $800 a month. And if you start today, you might be able to delay your next 2 mortgage payments. So don't wait. Please call American Financing, 888-462-9557, 888-462-9557. AmericanFinancing.net/Bill. Take control of your financial future today. Homeowners, when is the last time you checked on your home title? If your answer is never, then this is for you. Scammers are stealing titles, and your equity is a target. Criminals forge your signature. Just like that, your home title can be transferred out of your name. That's why I partnered up with Home Title Lock, so you can find out today if you're already a victim. Please use my promo code BILL at HometitleLock.com, and you'll get a free title history report. Plus, you will get a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts of any changes, and if fraud does happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. That's HometitleLock.com, promo code BILL. Smart Life. This is another important story. Please pay attention. As you know, we have a concierge service on BillO'Reilly.com. You pay about $100 a year. That is about 10 times less that you would pay a life coach or anything like that. And you get a free book. As part of the concierge membership, if you get into trouble, you can petition us and we will help you because we care about our viewers and listeners and concierge and premium members. Everybody says that, but we really care about them. All right? And we don't sell your lists. I've told you that before. We keep your privacy 100%. So for $100, you get insurance, life insurance, if you're a concierge member. So I get a letter from Florida. It says, quote, looking for advice. I understand you recommend not to invest on the internet. However, 3 years ago, I started a small account, $2,000, and I made regular deposits in a stalking account, Coinbase. It loves to tout how secure and protected they are, but I had a great difficulty assessing my account and was locked out on 2 occasions through no fault of my own. To get to the point of my request for assistance as a concierge member, I have requested an accounting for all the missing funds, now approximately $12,000 I get the runaround. Now, we're trying to help this guy, but here's how hard it is. We don't know where these people are, and the FBI doesn't know where they are either. They could be in India. They could be in Taiwan. They could be anywhere on the planet. And the concierge member doesn't know where they are. He just sent them money. Don't. Now, I don't know whether we're going to be able to find Coinbase. I don't know. The FBI can't. It's not a bank where you can walk in. It's not Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, where you got a staff. It's not a local person with an office who can look out for your money. It's some internet thing. $12,000? Now, there are two reasons why this happens. One, that people are just gullible. But I have gone over this before. Do not do business on the internet at all. If you want to order from Amazon, yeah, that's fine. But do not invest. I don't even do the crypto stuff. I'm telling you, I'm not doing it. All right, smart life. Here are the world's richest people. They don't do business on the internet. Elon Musk, $347 billion. Mark Zuckerberg, $258. Larry Ellison, Oracle, $251 billion. Bezos, $243. Ballmer, founder of Microsoft, $174. And then the last five, you see Warren Buffett's the only big name on it. Look, these guys made their money because it's a change now. It's like in confronting evil, I've got the robber barons. When the U.S. economy started to revolutionize into the modern stuff, these guys made so much money. Same thing in the tech. They all made their money in tech, all right? And they got more money, and that's what Bernie Sanders doesn't like. Thank you for watching. To view full episodes of the No Spin News anytime, sign up to become a BillO'Reilly.com premium or concierge member today.